On this vote, the yeas are 214 and the nays are 213. The resolution is adopted.
Mayorkas is impeached. Democrats are blaming one of their own because she had COVID and missed the vote. And it's hilarious. This is a crooked, corrupt administration. And so many of them deserve to be impeached, especially the big guy, Joe Biden. But we're going to have to settle right now for Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. He's the Secretary of Homeland Security. And last night, finally, the House of Representatives did, in fact, impeach him.
On this vote, the yeas are 214 and the nays are 213. The resolution is adopted.
And it was a close vote for sure. But yes, Alejandro Mayorkas will now face impeachment. Why was he impeached? Was it just political, as you're going to be hearing from cable news and Democrats and certainly Karine Jean-Pierre later today at the White House? Well, of course it wasn't. No, Alejandro Mayorkas deserved to be impeached, as Speaker Johnson said in his statement. For nearly a year, the House Homeland Security Committee has taken a careful and methodical approach to this investigation, and the results are clear. From his first day in office, Secretary Mayorkas has willfully and consistently refused to comply with federal immigration laws, fueling the worst border catastrophe in American history. He's undermined public trust through multiple false statements to Congress, obstructed lawful oversight of the Department of Homeland Security, and violated his oath of office. Representative Dan Bishop said it on the floor better than anyone can.
Madam Speaker, many have said what the issue is. Many have mischaracterized it, in my judgment. The issue presented by the articles of impeachment and why they should be adopted by the House is not a matter of policy. It is not a matter of maladministration. It is not a matter of incompetence. It is not a matter of neglect. It is not even a matter of refusal to enforce the law. It was stated succinctly and aptly in the district court opinion that ultimately led to the United States Supreme Court last summer in Texas, in the United States versus Texas. The core of the dispute is whether the executive branch may require its officials to act in a manner that conflicts with a statutory mandate imposed by Congress. It may not. You see, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, issued guidelines, administrative law, instructing the Department of Homeland Security not to detain criminal aliens, nor those ordered finally removed. That is what he did, and that was flatly contradictory to statutes passed by the Congress in the mid-1990s. We are a nation of laws. The court has said, the Supreme Court has said, it cannot referee this dispute. It is up to Congress. And the Congress has but one means in this situation to vindicate the law. It cannot help the situation by shutting down the government, by cutting off funding. There is no new cabinet secretary to refuse to confirm in the Senate. There is but one means: the impeachment of the secretary who purported to issue law defying the Congress. That must result in his impeachment. If the law is to have any force, if the Congress is to remain of any significance in the jurisprudence, in the law of the United States.
15 more.
Really well said and beautifully articulated by Representative Bishop. He's a statesman, he gets it, and he's protecting Congress and the Constitution with this move. By the way, I want to point out, over Congressman Bishop's right shoulder there, you'll see that woman in red. I'm sure you recognize her. That's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG. The cool kids in this town don't really like her. They make fun of her. Cool kids in the media do too. Even some cool kids in the Republican club up there on Capitol Hill. She's not their type of congresswoman. She's not their type of Republican. Let me tell you something. Say what you will about her. You cannot deny the fact that she has been a warrior on this issue. She has made sure that the House of Representatives followed through on this pledge to bring impeachment charges up against Alejandro Mayorkas. She has championed this cause, and she has been a lioness making sure that this happened. She deserves huge congratulations for getting this thing done. beautifully done, and she deserves that. Well done, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Tim Burchett. Yeah, sure, let's go with it. He said kind of the same thing that you just heard from Congressman Bishop, but he made it a little more succinct and a little bit more plain language instead of Congress language. I thought you'd like it.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett, leaving the House floor tonight. A few votes. The main one, of course, was impeaching Secretary Mayorkas, and we in fact had the votes tonight, and he was impeached, and he should have been. He lied under oath. He said our border is safe, and in fact it is not safe. It is a very dangerous place, and there is little or any security there. People are coming over, as you know, and this president and this White House and have done very little to do. We already had H.R. 2 passed last year, and it was, I'll get you 1 second, I'm sorry. And it's waiting over there on Schumer's desk and refused to do anything about it. So it was a good vote. He needed to be impeached. You've got to get away from this. Everybody gets a trophy and there's nobody held accountable. So thank y'all for sitting here.
You broke the law and you need to be impeached. I mean, you can't say it any better. By the way, Alejandro Mayorkas is only the second cabinet secretary in American history to face impeachment now. So, well, there you go. The Biden administration making history once again. The last time this happened was 1876. Secretary of War William Belknap. I'm sure you know all about the Trader Post scandal, don't you? No? All right, real fast. It was during the Grant administration, Ulysses S. Grant. Yeah, that one, U.S. Grant. And he was the Secretary of War. By the way, we should go back to Secretary of War, shouldn't we? Secretary of Defense. That's why should we be on the defensive? Defense? No, I want a Secretary of War, damn it. Don't be messing with us. Anyway, Secretary of War, William Belknap. And in the Oklahoma territories, we had Fort Sill. It's still there. It's a big Army fort there. In fact, I know people stationed there. Fort Sill, it's awesome. I've been there a couple of times. Anyway, we're building out Fort Sill there in the Oklahoma territories, and apparently Secretary of War Belknap was getting kickbacks from vendors. Oh, yeah, it's a tale as old as time, my friends. Getting kickbacks from vendors, building out Fort Sill and the surrounding areas there. You want to do business with the Army? You want to do business with the U.S. military, with the fort here, and you want to open up a store? Sure, you give us a little something, something. And guess who was the star witness against Secretary of War Belknap in the House impeachment inquiry? You will never guess. General George Custer. Yes, that General Custer. Boy, they got him in the end, didn't they? Anyway, General Custer testifies against Belknap. Finally, the House impeaches him, but the morning of the impeachment vote, President Grant accepted Belknap's resignation. And so now a huge debate erupts on the floor. Can we impeach somebody who's a private citizen? Can we impeach a person who isn't actually a secretary in the cabinet? They went ahead and impeached him anyway. They had the trial in the Senate. He was acquitted, but mostly because he had already resigned. And most of the senators were like, well, we can't really impeach somebody who doesn't work for the administration, so this is kind of moot. The majority of senators, by the way, did vote to remove him, but he didn't get the requisite 2/3. And I lay this out for you because that's where this is headed now. Now Chuck Schumer needs to put together on the schedule an impeachment trial. There will be House managers named who will come in and they will act as prosecutors in the trial, and the Senate will be the jury. You've seen the impeachment of President Trump, those fake impeachments that we saw. Well, that'll be the same process here. And we'll see what happens. But you see, maybe Secretary Mayorkas should follow the dignified example of Secretary Belknap, his predecessor, his dubious predecessor. Maybe he can save us all a lot of trouble here, and he should just resign in disgrace. Then he can go back to California and, I don't know, run for governor or something. Oh, one other aspect of this story that needs to be shared, and that is the impeachment only happened because of the heroic, triumphant return of Majority Whip Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana. He wasn't there for the vote last week that went down by one vote. He wasn't there because he was undergoing cancer treatment. This guy has been through everything. Remember when that left-wing lunatic mass shooter, attempted murderer, shot up a bunch of Republicans on a baseball field just about 3 miles from where I'm sitting right now? Steve Scalise, of course, got shot in the hip, and he dodged to death as he was bleeding out from his damaged artery in his hip. And now he's facing off with cancer. But look at this moment when he returns to the House so he can vote for Mayorkas.
How are you feeling?
Feeling great. It's exciting to be back. I know it's been a long time, since 6 weeks, and I've missed being here. And you can only do so much by phone, and so to be back in person is really exciting.
Your whole conference missed you very much last week, especially your vote.
I've heard the votes are tight, and every vote's going to matter around here.
Are you going to seal the deal today on this Mayorkas impeachment?
Yeah, we're going to bring it up in a few hours, so it'll be probably the second vote tonight. And then, we got a full slate the rest of this week.
Yeah, that's great. And it's great to see him back. By the way, I love the fact that he's wearing he's from Louisiana. He's wearing his Mardi Gras tie because it was Mardi Gras last night for the vote. Very cool stuff. And that's what you want to see. If you're a Republican, you get so excited about seeing a man battling back from so many things that Steve Scalise has battled back from, including cancer. And he like emerges from his hospital fighting cancer, gets to the floor, and votes to impeach Mayorkas. That's great. You got to be proud if you're a Republican. But you know what? I got to be honest. Battling cancer, I mean, yeah, I guess it's okay, but it's not nearly as serious as what Congresswoman Chu, a Democrat, had to endure there over on the other side of the aisle. Judy Chu, Congresswoman from California, she was unable to make it to the vote last night. She put out a statement explaining the serious medical threat she had, and honestly, it makes cancer look like a day in the park. Yeah, as you can see here from her statement, I recently tested positive for COVID-19. Thoughts and prayers, Congresswoman Chu. Thoughts and prayers. I am isolating in accordance with CDC guidelines. I was unable to be on the floor to vote once again against impeaching Secretary Mayorkas. So let's just get this straight. Scalise is facing down the big C, and he figures out a way to get himself out of the hospital and limp his way into the House so he can impeach Mayorkas. Chu, she doesn't even say she has any symptoms. She tested positive, so that's it. I got to stay home. I'm isolating in place. Fauci told me I had to. You know what? By the way, she put this statement out on X, and you got to see the meltdown, the absolute meltdown from the Democrats who are so pissed at her for doing this. Look at them. Where are you? Boy, were you? Why were you here? Unless you're fighting for your life, you deserve to be voted out. Look, I like this one. Wear a mask. Well, everybody knows a mask doesn't do anything except Mark Goines, apparently. Our ancestors hate you for what you've become. What the hell? That's pretty harsh. You better be really sick. No, wait, we need to see more of these. Congresswoman, we are the fight for our lives to save the republic. We stand in line for hours to beat voter suppression. We write postcards, knock on doors, sign up for phone banks, dig deep to make our small dollar donations, and we do it even when we feel too sick to go on. I'm disgusted by Mark Slavin, Mark with a C, for saying such a thing. Would you have Congresswoman Chu be a grandma killer? Would you have her defy CDC guidelines? How dare you, sir? How dare you? Don't you understand the serious nature of this pandemic? Don't you understand that people's lives are at risk? Some things are a little more important than a vote on the House floor. We, for our sake, all of Town Hall Media, we applaud you, Congresswoman Chu. Thank you. Thank you for looking out for the interests of your colleagues and the staff members in the House of Representatives. And we wish you good health. Get better soon.